Hello, we are going to be discussing the guidelines about Intercept interviews and the online survey. So as an overview, you have to do 3 tasks. So one is I conduct at least 30 Intercept interviews at parks and other public spaces, including grocery stores, conduct email, phone, and in-person outreach of at least 10 organizations, being cultural centers, recreational centers, senior centers, nonprofits, apartments, businesses, apartment buildings where you live or they're nearby your home. And three, just try out a social media strategy to fill out the survey and get well, first of all, you will have to engage in 3 platforms. If you have less than 3 platforms, you can engage in less. That's like fine, concentrating two. But the idea is just to try different platforms and ask your family or friends to fill out the survey, assuming that they have visited places in Utah or parks in Utah and trails, and have like 5 groups or organizations, which could be businesses or nonprofits, just associational groups, and ask them to share the survey. And ideally, those will be local or have visited the parks and trails here in Utah. Some of the learning objectives are to talk to others about a city project and how they can get involved in the planning process. So it's like informing the public that the master plan is going on, then conduct like public intercept interviews, so being able to engage with someone in a survey and talk to them about what the city is doing, gather that information, and recognize the importance of outreach via email, phone, and social media. So just using different methods so people complete the survey and just like write a report back to project managers and offer them recommendations about like how they might improve community engagement strategy with like surveys and these interviews. And you have all the month of September to do this project, and the report is due on October 1st at midnight. And as design workshop explained before, we are in this 6-week community engagement window one, and this started actually like last week, and this first portion of the surveys will end in September, and then we will move into the more micro engagements or focus groups. This homework has never been done, so I will request some feedback of like how did it go, which kinds of things we can improve in the future, which things were not as clear, so we can try to improve upon this. So here is a task 1.1, and which is like the public intercept interviews. As we explained before, the idea of this is like intercepting someone that is an user that at the time is using the park or the trail, or that lives nearby. If you go to supermarket or a public space that is like close to that particular park or natural area. And there's like more about this methodology in one of the chapters that I share from like University of Denver students who also help design workshop to do the public intercept interviews. In this homework, you need to complete 30 of these intercept interviews, so meaning with people in public spaces. You can always like do more in order to like win some of the prizes that are listed at the end of this assignment. You have like different ways that you will collect this. So on Thursday, September 3rd, we will go to Liberty Park. We will meet in the Rice Terrace Pavilion. and we will just like practice with ourselves the intercept interviews, and then we will go and approach people. Then we will come back and see how that go. Those side paper surveys do count towards your 30. Then here it says like you will sign up for a park or a trail, a supermarket, and this is actually located in here. So you have to go to like this tab that it says like cultural. I don't know if I'm sharing this. I think it's a no share. Apologies. Oh, here it is. So you have to go to here where it says like parks and grocery stores, and then just sign up for a group. And in the module itself of like September 3rd, there's some list of like what this means, group 1, group 2. Right now you cannot see here which parks you will be assigned or grocery stores, but if you go to this other tab in the module, we can go there like real quick. For September 3rd, you will find this list, and this list it says like what is group 1. See, group 1 is going to like Jordan Meadows, group 2 to Rose Park. So 2 people are needed in group 1, 2 people in group 2, and they will go to like these parks. There's also like some suggested interviews. So for this park, which is smaller, it's a community park, 5 will be good. For the groceries, to 15 will be good in groups. So in total, it will be 30 for each one of these. It doesn't have to be 15 here, 5 there. This is just a suggestion, but the idea of like this part of the homework is that you actually get 15 through this psych method, which is like going to parks and natural areas, trails, and supermarkets. So again, half will have to or should be there. This one, it says right now in pairs that you will at least one pop-up event. This is a mistake actually. So you just need to attend a pop-up event in your own, unless you want to do it also with your buddy that already signed up for that other task. So here you just have to like go to this website and find the most like recent gatherings. So here's the website. They have the community events schedule, and so you can find for today's day they will be meeting at the Jordan Park location for the ice cream. Tomorrow, for example, they will be at the Fisher Brewing Company. You will meet like city employees doing the having a table and like offering free things like ice cream, so people fill out the survey. They're mostly doing it through the phone. They also have paper copies there available. You want to get your own paper copies and get surveys through the paper copies, because this is like the way that it counts for you. So if you put it in the phone, there's no way to like document that. So what they want you to do is like for you to walk around the pop-up trying to get people to do it on your paper copy. You will, because you have like the paper copy, you have to be conscious about what you like to do. You can give the person the paper copy and then like desanitize, and they can just fill it out by themselves, or you can like read it to the person. There's people that might feel uncomfortable also asking aloud the questions on like the demographics, like how much income do you make. If you feel comfortable, you can do like a mix in where you will ask the questions yourself, and then you will give the person the demographic questions. The important part is that you are comfortable in whatever you are trying to do, and that of course you keep your social distance and your mask. If you don't feel comfortable approaching someone that doesn't have a mask, you just like skip that person. So again, it's like how comfortable you are, but for sure wear your mask and keep your distance. And if you, I would highly recommend you bringing your hand sanitizer for the pen and for the clipboard and all that. So we're going to go back to here the guidelines. That didn't seem to work. Here it is. So there's like a way that you can sign up also in the collaborations tab for the pop-up event. And so you can go there again and find the pop-ups and sign up in advance. But here the idea is like to divide people so not everybody ends up in the same event and then you're competing to get surveys. But I am not looking at like this many people here, this many people there. So it's really up to you. You can go to as many as you want. The important thing is that you go just to one at least, just to get the experience with the city, and you can understand, you know, how they do it, as you will be doing this in the future once you get a job as a planner. If you don't already, some of you might already be working in the field. So here, what this point number 4, it says that if you have people having trouble having people figure it out, you can always ask, you know, your friends, people at the gym, people at the university, any social groups that you're part of. The important thing is that there's a paper copy, so you can claim those as your surveys. You should also strive to like have people that are diverse to complete your survey, meaning different ages, different genders, gender identities, physical abilities, recreational interests, whatever that might be, race and ethnicity, and so on. And then again, you have like a month to complete these like 30 surveys. We have given you a page, and it basically says like, hi, my name is like so and so, and I am a master student in urban planning at the University of Utah. And this semester, my class assignment is to help the city and their public lands master plan. And then you can throw like a few statistics just to like have them to be interested. And then you can ask them that if they have time to complete, and right here it says like 5-minute survey, but and then in the surveys that design workshop or the public lands division gave us, it says like 2 minutes. I think that this survey might be more like 10 minutes. So this is something that we are going to test, because I don't think that we haven't. So part of what we will do on Thursday is like actually figure out how long does it take. In theory, you don't want someone to do a survey that is more than 5 minutes. After that, the number of people that completed is like very, very low. If it's an online survey, if it's in person, people are more willing to do a survey, perhaps for 10 minutes. But ideally, you will design, this is something that you will design and test before going out to the field, and it will be 5 minutes. And you don't want to deceive people either by telling them, yeah, it's a 2-minute survey, and in reality it's not 2 minutes. So here we will learn about like how long it is. That's why I put here, X minutes, so you need to check how long it will take. You can obviously through like the statistics, tell people that this is urgent, that it's very important, that our population is going to double, that we need more parks, natural spaces, so people have access in the future. And you can also use I'm a student at the University of Utah, I need to do this homework, would you please help me, way of like uh, having people be empathetic to you and be able to get this survey done. So we already talked about safety and bringing your bag, mask and sanitizer, keep your 6 feet distance, and so on. So for the paper surveys, you will have like some information that you have to fill out at the top that it says your name and what's the weather like, time and date where you got the survey. And this like information for the paper surveys will be entered online. But something I failed to mention before in class is that the Intercept interview and the online survey are slightly different, just because of the nature of like verbalizing a survey is not the same as in online. So we have to create another link in order for you to enter the data on the Intercept interview. So basically you have 2 links. So one that you share with people for the that are organizations or through like the social media, that is the online survey, and then you have to enter the data in another link with the paper copies. We are going to also collect these paper copies, so you want to bring those to me on October 1st, which is a date that we will meet in class. And if not, you can put them in the mailbox in the architecture building in room 235, and I will like get them there. We already talked about like the people that you should approach, so diverse people. And we already said that if you don't feel comfortable going to a very large group or people that are not wearing masks, just don't do it. So the task number 2 is to talk to organizations, and there's a list that we already put together with the cultural, senior, and recreation centers. Unfortunately, there's only like 16 of these. So just try to get one of those that the city is really trying to like outreach to these specific organizations. But we will complement this like short list really with like finding apartment buildings, restaurants, coffee shops, and any other organizations. And we have like a Google Doc that is says like cultural senior center and recreational centers, etc., in where you will try to put there, maybe your favorite coffee shop, brewery, or a supermarket that you go, and then you will say, I'm going to these places, and just let your colleagues know in advance that that's what you are doing, so there's like no duplication. You can contact these people by just like walking with your flyer and like coming in and telling them, hey, can I put this flyer, or would you put this flyer? It's possible that they are not the business owner, so they don't know if they can put the flyer, but as long as you give it to them, that's an effort that you made to provide the information to the public, so you can count that as a successful engagement. You could also, at that time that you have like given them the flyer, say, I sent you an email, and you would share it with like the people that you know, like for example in a gym, they will have like a listserv. Can you share with like your clients? And you don't have to check if they did. You just have to like send them the email. So here the assignment is like to try to do both. Try to do the email and the flyer. I understand that sometimes that's not possible, and you don't literally have to document that they put the flyer there. The important thing is that you did the outreach and you actually did your best for them to do that. So you can count that as a successful outreach that you have completed. And for the email, we have like a script here. You can also like contact the person on the phone. Especially the senior centers, cultural centers, right now they might be like closed. So you might want to pick up the phone and tell the person and say, hey, can I share this with you? And then can you share it with like others in email, or maybe in your social media, Facebook, and so on. So you need to like outreach 10 organizations. And then just again some script and some instructions of what to do. You want to help them out as much as possible if you contact them through email, meaning that you will give them a script of what to send, and you will also provide for them like an image. So for example, if you're sharing something in Facebook or in Twitter, they might want to include an image in order to capture people's attention. And here's an example of like an image. In the it's like a tab in management, and there's like course images and master plan branding. So you can find a lot of these images and you can make your own, or you can use some of the ones that are there in order to just send to people so they will send out the information, or you will use for your own social media, which is like the next task, which is the 1.3 online engagement. Something I wanted to say about these images is that you want to be careful of like having something that is professional, because you right now represent the public lands division in Salt Lake City. So you don't want to put something that is like questionable. If you have questions about something, just like email me and then I can see if it's appropriate or not. And if I'm not entirely sure, I can share it with the public lands division. But it's important that right now we are representing their brand. So we want to be careful of what we say or share. We're not representing ourselves. So the third task is the online engagement. And here you basically would share the online survey and with like family and friends and ask them to fill out the survey or share their link with their networks. And they should, or you should, sorry, contact at least 5 groups or organizations online. Again, they could be like businesses or nonprofit organizations, association groups, and the client gave us like a hashtag to use here, so you can use that to tag the initiative. And part of the idea is to get like 3 social media tools or use 3 of these. Most of you probably have that number, but if you have less media tools, you can just like use 2. That's entirely fine. If you only want to do it in 1, that's fine. The idea here of the homework is that you try also different platforms, just to again have the experience with like different platforms. I understand that you don't want to make like a new account for something. If I would recommend any of these that you don't have, it would be LinkedIn, because that one is very important for your professional networking and to make an account. But otherwise, you can use whatever you have in order to share with friends, family, and to find some organizations that you would share with. So the report, the deliverables is like due Thursday, October 1st at midnight in Canvas. And you will need, again, to complete the 30 hard copies. You will have to give me that on that day. And you can also drop them off on the architecture building. And the link for you to enter the information will be provided later, hopefully soon. And the other thing to write the report that I put here is that I want it in a Word document so I can actually like download it and like give you comments. You need to cite like sources if you're citing anything at all. I don't anticipate that you will have a lot of citations, but just in case, in the whole class, we will use a Chicago style 17 edition. And for more guidelines on the class and how to write, we have a manual style in Canvas under files. It's called MOS. And the report is directed to the management team. Your title in this report is going to be Planner 1. So I just want you to like do this in a way that it looks like it would come from a city office. So just find the logo from like City and Metropolitan Planning and put it there. Do something similar here, but indicating instead of the Planning Division Community Neighborhoods is the Community Engagement in Planning course. And just fill out this information. There's like red will be like public intercept interviews and so on. You will give some brief project description. So here is just like say this report seeks to do blank. First, this report discusses blank, and second, it discusses blank. So basically just giving like an overview. It's important that you mention the engagement period, which we did all this like, you know, from August 26 to September 2020. And here you will give a summary of the rest of the report. So it's like you can mention what are some challenges and opportunities that you encounter, what are some of the recommendations that you have for the city about like how to do community engagement, what worked and what didn't work, and just be succinct. For the next week, you should divide this like by task. So in the first task is just like ask like to include, to fill out this table, and you just not only have to fill it out in your own report, but you also have to fill it out in just like the always I have to find Canvas and then find the collaborations tab so I can show you. Okay, so you have to go to the collaborations tab, and here it says like you will fill out the where you did the public intercept interviews and some information there about weather, date, and so on. And the same thing for task 1.2 and 1.3. So these tables is like collectively, we are going to put all the data here. So it's very important that you complete this like portion, not only have it in your report with your own data, but also like collectively, so we can know which places did we go. And we are going to create a report on this a little bit later with a summary of like what everybody did in the class. So these three are important for us moving forward. These other items is just for you to like sign sign up for different things and just like organize ourselves. But these ones are not really graded items that I will actually look at. The ones are below those are. So just make sure that you complete that as part of the um, assignment for those I3 parts. So just that will be part of our reporting. Just include any documentation that you have, like just like pictures. I think that pictures it will be, but you can create a map if you want to, of like the places that you went to. None of those things are required. The photographs are, because part of the idea is that we actually use some of those photographs for our final report. And somebody had a question about like us photographing people. So just make sure that you always ask people if they're okay with the photographs. You don't have to photograph every single person. So it's like just take a couple of pictures and put it in your report. And the same thing with the flyer. You might want to like put a picture of the flyer posted in the business window. But you don't have to do it for all 10 places that you go. So it's more like, yeah, I did this, and we will use that for documentation, as in like using it for reports and for a blog that we will collectively put together. So we have like good images of what we just did. For the organizational research or organizational outreach, I should say. So it's like basically just fill out the table and just like have some recommendations as well on how to improve on this like strategy of like reaching out to people via phone, email, or in person, giving them the flyers, and so on. And as I said, some documentation, pictures. And the online engagement is the same. So you will actually, in this one, I ask you to talk more about who you might be reaching in these like different platforms. So this is for you to do a little research. And this is where you might use the actually citations. Just by maybe citing the Pew Research Center or another organization that has information on this, and you will use the footnotes. So at the bottom of the document itself, in the same page, to add some of those citations in Chicago style, 17th edition. And then you will ask some questions, or answer some questions, like discuss the approach that you took. How did you make your post like likable and shareable? Did you achieve your goal? Which barriers and opportunities did you encounter, and what would you recommend to the Salix Polylands division? Some conclusion. So there's like here some ideas, and then you can include more pictures or any appendices that you might want as a back matter. And we will be using all this information, also the focus groups, to do a presentation for the Parks, Natural Lands, Urban Forestry and Trails Advisory Board on November 5th. So all this fits into your final project and your group project. In terms of the evaluation, the public intercept interviews in paper and in person count half of the grade, and the other two things is like 5 points for a total of 20 points for the whole class of 100 points. And there's like different prices that we have depending on the different categories. So we have like the collector master, whoever collected the most of the survey, social media influencer, organizational outreach Jedi, and then best documentarian, which is like for the report itself. And we have golds and silver winners, and basically all gold winners get a picnic blanket branded by the Public Lands Division. And then silver, it would be like a hat or a water bottle from them too. And these are just like some of the materials that you should bring. We will provide the hard copies for the survey. We also have like translations, and we will be making some copies of that too. At Liberty Park, we also give you some copies of the dashboard and some postcards and a name tag. You just have to bring your clipboard, pen, hand sanitizer, mask, t-shirt. And here's like a checklist of all the things that you will have to do. And always remember what to bring for the Intercept interviews. And that's it for this homework. Just like let me know if you have any questions next time that you like see me in class, and you can always like write an email. Another thing I wanted to show is that we have in files, like if you go to files, okay, here we are. If you go to files, you will see that there's a file here that says management, and it says so you go to files, right, and then you go to management, and then there's like course images here. So there's the CMP logo for your report. There's also the master plan branding. And here's where you will have like all these like images that you can use for your social media or with like sharing with people. If you go to files, you can also find the assignments. And then assignments as a public Intercept assignment. And here you can find the written survey, but there's also the Intercept survey location, the snapshot. This is the online survey or the assignment, sorry. And then here you can find the ones in English and Spanish, and this is also in the module itself, so everything should be in the module. I just wanted to show you that there's some files that have all of the assignments together, all the modules or the information in the modules, and also the more like management side for branding and other documents that we have. So hopefully I answer most of your questions. I'm just like looking at the chat to see if there's like anything else. I think that I clarify some of the questions that came up also in the session before I actually recorded this. So I hope that most things are clear. But if not, you can always like email me or talk to me next time that you see me in class. So thank you so much. See you later.